Welcome to Let's Talk About CRPS, a podcast brought to you by MTI directly from Italy. We will talk about the latest news and treatments, patients' experiences, and exclusive interviews of CRPS experts. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website crps-treatment.com. Let's take off! Hi everyone, welcome to this new episode of Let's Talk About CRPS. Today our very special guest is Nicole, who came to us twice for treatment in 2018 and in 2019. Hi Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Pretty good. So happy to get a chance to chat with you today.
Very happy to have you on the podcast. It's very important for us to have patients that actually went through the treatment so they can tell the stories to everyone listening. So let's dive right in, and why don't you just present yourself for everyone listening?
Sure. Well, like you said, my name's Nicole. I am 32 years old. I'm from the United States. I live in the northern part, so Maine, kind of by Boston area for those who aren't familiar. I went for treatment twice in 2018 and 2019. Let's see what else about me. For work, I like to, I'm in social work, so I work with adults with intellectual disabilities, and I help them keep their services in the States. And then for things I like to do, like in my free time, I like to hang out with my dog and my cat. And then my partner and I, we have a sailboat, so we go sailing, and we go skiing. We try to hang out with family, just go to concerts, have some good times together.
All right. So, how long did you have CRPS for before you came for treatment in 2018, the first one?
Yeah, so it happened when I was in college, so around 2012, 2013 time. I played field hockey in college, so it happened from an injury from that. And then it takes, as everyone kind of knows with this disease, it takes a while for it to get diagnosed.
Yeah.
So my injury was in 2012, 2013 time. And then I didn't get diagnosed till around 2015. So after I graduated college in 2014, I kind of focused a lot of my energy on figuring out what was going on, seeing a bunch of different doctors, trying to figure out what was it. And then in January, it was January 2015 is when I got diagnosed.
Yeah, so you had it for 6 years then before coming the first time.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a long time.
It is a long time. So how would you say it was affecting your life then back then?
I would say it had a magnificent, massive impact for sure. Definitely debilitating. I was very active. I played, like I said, I got my original injury from playing a sport in college. So very active all around. Very social person too. I really like to go and hang out with my family and my friends. I like to do a bunch of stuff like that. So when that injury happened, I figured out what it was and started taking medications and different doctors' visits, and just that whole horrible process. It kind of definitely stole my life a little bit. I would say I was once very engaged with everyone around me, was able to work, do all that great stuff, kind of enjoy my life. And it got very small, and it went to just kind of in my house. I had to move back home with my family and just try to figure out how to know my new normal.
Yeah. So what treatments did you try in the States before coming here?
I tried a bunch of different ones. I tried one called scatter therapy. I did a lot of different medications. I was on a bunch of different medications. Yeah. I went to a lot of different pain management programs. So I did a lot with at Boston Mass General in Boston. I also went to the Cleveland Clinic out in Cleveland for a pain management program. I was there for a couple months, and then my main doctor was out there as well. And so we did a lot of different tests, a lot of different, just a lot of different things to try to see if it would work. And it was just a very long process.
Yeah. So then what made you decide to come to Italy for treatment?
So my mom definitely was the one who steered that ship, so to speak. She helped me organize a lot of my treatments and stuff like that, and kind of see different doctors. And so I think I'm not 100% sure on how she came upon the program, but I know we had pretty much exhausted a lot of our options in the United States, especially with all the major hospitals that we'd been to multiple times. And then she knew, I think through a chat room or something, a support group, that the main place to go for treatment and for support with it is in Italy with you guys. So I think she reached out, and then once we started talking with the doctors, we realized it would be a good next step.
Okay. And so what was your experience with us for the first round of treatment?
The first round of treatment, I had a really great experience. So I I was met at the airport by Diego, which was awesome. He picked up my mom and I, and then we went to look around at different sites. We went to see where we were staying, which was really nice. And we kind of just got a little bit of a tour and talked a little bit about what to expect, met the doctors. And yeah, so I really liked, what I liked about it was that it was a lot different than a lot of other programs that I've been in, a lot of different like medical options too, because it didn't focus just on like the treatment that you're getting, but it focused on a lot of the emotional side of it too, and kind of helped distracting and creating an experience rather than just medical treatment been done. So that's something that I really liked about it. And all the questions that we had about everything were very answered, and I can ask a lot of questions, so it can be annoying. So I definitely appreciate the patience for sure.
And then, so what was the result you had from the first treatments?
So a lot of my symptoms were, I had a lot of brain fog, a lot of short-term memory loss as well. I was a lot of sweating, like very unable to regulate my body temperature. I had a lot of nausea and vomiting a lot. My digestive system, I couldn't really keep anything down. Probably the most significant one though was the sensitivity to touch and to wind and to clothing and to everything, like laying down, sitting was so difficult because it's in my arms and my legs and like my feet, my hands and stuff. And so any like socks or any pants are very, very, very painful. So that's kind of like a little bit of my symptoms. I have more and less, but that's the major ones. And I noticed a significant like decrease of those symptoms my first time. And I remember feeling more like, especially in my joint areas, like my like toes and my ankles and my feet, I was able to move those a lot easier, and my knees as well. So it felt like I was able to get some like motion back, some more use back, and I was able to. But before I was in a wheelchair, most times I had a cane that I was using. I couldn't really walk or sit down for long periods of time.
Yeah.
I noticed that 100%, not 100%, I would definitely say 50% changed. And so I was able to do more things. I was able to get a job when I got back, which was really nice. Eventually able to move into my own apartment, which was great, kind of have that independence and like start my own life, because at this point I think I'm in my mid-late 20s. And so a lot of my other friends and families, what they're doing is they're really into their careers, they're really into their relationships, and it's really hard to manage that when you have such a debilitating illness. And so I would notice the first time back, I was very much able to kind of start figuring out what I wanted to do and what path I wanted to take, which was really amazing, because you never know, especially with it before, with all the not successful treatments, how like great that is, and how you never know if it would actually happen.
Yeah. So we do mention to our patients that you have the possibility of coming for a second round of infusions if the first round of infusion went well and provided results. So that was the case for you, and you then decided to come for a second round of treatment. So what made you decide to come back?
What made me like really decide to come back was positive experience that I had. And also when we were talking with the doctors, I remember my exit like discussion with them to be like, okay, these are things that to like look out for and see like progression, like 4 to 6 months, you'll start to see the full impact of it. And if that doesn't happen, we can always discuss about coming back. But after that, you kind of know if it works for you after 6 months. And so after 6 months, I noticed a change. I noticed more impact, like more successful change every day. Being able to, like I said, use my body more how I used to, be able to kind of have the energy to hang out with friends, be more like a part of life and stuff. But I felt like there was more that I could get out of it, in that I realized with how long that I've had my CRPS, that with it going untreated for so long, that they said one of the possibilities of getting more like relief and more like less pain is going back again. And so after talking with like my mom about it and my family about it, and then we talked to the doctors, we decided that going back, like I think it was a year later, a little more than a year later, was when we would try again.
And then what were the results from the second treatment then?
The results they had even more of a positive impact. So my flare-ups, they used to be like 2 to 3 weeks long at times, 1 to 3 weeks, and now they're only a few days, which is so much better. They're not nearly as painful. I no longer have I'm still nauseous at times, but I'm able to keep food down and things like that. So that's amazing. I'm able to regulate my temperature a little bit better, which is great. My brain fog is still a little there, but it's a lot better than before, for sure. And then the biggest impact, I would say, is the pain. I'm still in pain, but it's not nearly as severe and life devastating as before. And so I'm able to more like kind of take take charge of my own life and kind of able to do what I'd like to do rather than have to compromise all the time about things that I'm able to do rather than things I want to do.
Yeah. So like you were saying before, you are a very sporty kind of girl. So I'm very happy that you were being able to go back to, you know, mountain climbing and just hiking and snowboarding, and you sent me some pictures. So I was very happy that, you know, you could get back to these things that were important to you before the treatments, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, prior to arriving the first time, for it being a treatment overseas in another country, a treatment that you haven't heard of, you know, back in the States, did you have any doubts or concerns towards, you know, what was going to happen for the treatment?
I would say absolutely. I definitely had doubts and concerns, and they weren't really rooted towards your guys' medical treatments or your anything like that. It was more of just the experience that I've had with the healthcare system and how if sometimes what we'll do, you just kind of feel like you get passed on and passed on and passed on to another doctor, and the length of time it takes to see if certain things work or not is more time you're just losing on your life, so to speak. So it's like each time you try something new and it doesn't work, or you try something new and it doesn't work, you kind of lose a little faith and you get to really kind of dig yourself into a hole of being just very much so feeling like you're hopeless. And so one thing that I've noticed was that part of your guys' program, what you do is you take what really helped me is that you focus on that part of it as well, rather than just the treatment part. So it gives you something to look forward to in your day. It gives you something to kind of have a new experience rather than just the same old kind of Groundhog Day-esque, same pain every day, same life every day. But what you guys do, you engage with the person and you kind of give options of how to make that person feel less of themselves and more of just like here for experience and getting better. And you focus at more areas than that. So I think when I got there, I kind of it felt very different than any place I'd been before. And after, especially the first time, I realized that I'm really happy that I went because I was very like down in the dumps about anything working anymore. And especially since I was in my mid-20s, there's so much life left, you know? So it's hard to like get out of that, oh, nothing's going to work mentality. But I think you guys are really positive. And what you do is once you get there, you can kind of see from like just looking at the person, what they've kind of been through and try to focus on lifting their spirits as well as helping them get better, like medically. So I think it really makes such a big impact. So that's definitely how you guys helped manage a lot of those fears, so to speak.
A lot of patients from the States in particular have said the same thing to us, just you feel like a number to so many doctors. A lot of them don't know about CRPS. They don't understand how much fear you're in. They don't understand that you've been just ping-ponged around between one doctor and another. And so yeah, it's important for us to have team members with empathy because it's very important for them to understand the level of pain and the level of loneliness that a lot of the patients that we come through feel, you know. So the whole being with you at the clinic is not only for, you know, security reason or whatever, it's only really for you to have someone to talk to just speak about anything that is not CRPS while you're having the infusions, and then have the touristic afternoon after the treatment so that you can kind of relax and just think of something else than the treatments, and it's not like your usual treatment. So
right, exactly.
It's important to kind of balance while you're here. So there's a lot of stress because you go to another country for treatment, you don't know what to expect and all of this. So you have to balance that with just having a team that has a lot of empathy and that knows exactly what to do to make you feel home.
Right. And also, I think a big part of it too is like you're saying, having more things in your day. Like, so yeah, you have your treatments for 1 to 3 for a few hours, something like that. And then after that, instead of just going back to the hotel, it's like, oh, actually, we're going to go explore the streets. We're going to go, what are things that you like to do at home? So that way we can do something kind of like that around here, but it's more Italian, so to speak. So like, I really enjoyed like being able to experience being over there, like in a different sense for why I was over there. And I think that's really big to get like out of like the hospital room, out of like being indoors, because you're so, at least for my experience, I was so stuck being inside because I wasn't able to be outside for long periods of time, just for pain wise, and being able to like, and I wasn't able to like engage with anything like that. So I think that part of it is huge, and that helps people kind of get back on their feet for like getting back into their everyday life and start making that change and being able to make that change too.
yeah, for a lot of patients, it is, the first day of the rest of their life. We're getting you used to being back to who you used to be. So I think it being an experience and just with a lot of things happening that are not just treatment, but really something that kind of marks the beginning of, the rest of your life. I think that's also very important because you're like, okay, from now on, I will get better. I will
Right.
get my life back together. I will, be back to my old self. So I think that's a huge impact, also mental, on the patients coming here.
Huge. Like we were saying, like how I was sending you pictures of like snowboarding and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I grew up snowboarding and skiing since I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
So being able to, and I had to stop after like my injury and getting diagnosed and trying to focus on my health. I wasn't able to be able to have that ability to ski and snowboard. But the
Mm-mm.
past couple of years, I've been able to add it back into like my life and go ski, and it's just been so amazing. So it's so nice to be able to have parts of myself back again. And I think
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it. Huge.
Mm-mm. So what would be your message for every CRPS patient listening to us right now?
I think my message would be just that everyone's battle is so different, difficult, and just remembering that you're not really alone.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that how I found this, how I was able to get into this program is that going through communities and having a community to reach out who understands you and kind of hear you and knows some parts of what you're going through,
Yeah.
and making sure to still have that like lifeline, so to speak, or that communication line open. So then that way, when you're able to move forward, you can be open to finding more programs like this or when having more opportunities like that, because I wouldn't have been able to if like we weren't in different group chat rooms and things like that, but for people who have CRPS. So I
Mm-hmm.
think one thing I would say is just, I know it's incredibly discouraging, but just keep doing one foot in front of the other, and it sucks and it's hard and it's not fair. But I think as long as you remember that you can get parts of your life back at some point and have that goal, doesn't matter how long it takes to get there, but being
Yeah.
open to getting back there is, I think, huge.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Nicole. It was amazing having you here with us today. Very happy to talk to you as always.
Yeah, me too.
Me and Nicole have more or less the same age. So when she came, actually the second time we celebrated your birthday, was it your 20? What birthday was it? Do you
I
remember?
think so this was 2019. So I think I was 27. Was that my 27th birthday or
Yeah,
26th? I think it might have been. Yeah. Yeah.
27. So we had dinner for her 27th birthday. It was very special.
So much fun.
You also saw the 4th of July in the
Oh,
American
yeah.
base that is here in Vicenza. So you had a whole
The
Italian
fireworks.
experience here. Yeah.
It was so cool. It was so cool to see and meeting all the different people who were there too. It was awesome. It was definitely a lifetime moment, like lifetime moments and experiences for sure.
Oh, well, it was for us too. So she stayed in our heart, and I'm sure after this podcast she will stay in yours too. So thank you very much for being here with us today, and for
Mhm.
everyone else, we'll see each other later on the next episode of Let's Talk About CRPS next week. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.